Oedipus has just stepped out into Thebes, out of his palace with his eyes gouged out. O my cloud, of darkness, abominable, unspeakable as it attacks me, not to be turned away, brought by an evil wind. Alas, again, alas, both enter me at once, the sting of the prongs, the memory of evils. Of course, he's referring to the sting of prongs. He's referring to the whip that Laos used and the sting of the memory of evils. He's referring also to the 2 gold pins that Oedipus used to blind himself, which are the pins that unloosed Iocasta's clothing. So killing my dad, marrying my mom, it's both onto me. I do not marvel that in these afflictions you carry double griefs and double evils. Ah, friend, so you at least are there, resolute servant, still with a heart to care for me, the blind man. Oh, I know that you are there. I recognize even inside my darkness the voice of yours. So the chorus, the people of Thebes, they're pitying Oedipus. Doer of horror, how did you bear to quench your vision? What divinity raised your hand? It was Apollo there, Apollo, friends, who brought my sorrows, vile sorrows, to their perfection, these evils that were done to me. But the one who struck them with his hand, that one was none but I, in wretchedness. For why was I to see when nothing I could see would bring me joy? He's owning his mistakes here. Is that greatness? You know, Apollo might have caused this, but it was I who did it. It's me. So I punish myself. I gouge my eyes out. How could I see what would bring me joy? Yes, that is how it was. What could I see, indeed, or what enjoy? What greeting is there I could hear with pleasure, friends? Conduct me out of the land as quickly as you can. Conduct me out, my friends. The man utterly ruined, supremely cursed, the man who is by gods the most detested of all men. Wretched in disaster and in knowledge, oh, I could wish you'd never come to know. Kind of like Iocosta, I wish you never found out. Don't find out. It's more comfortable living blind. May he be destroyed, whoever freed the savage shackles from my feet when I'd been sent out to the wild pasture. Whoever rescued me from murder and became my savior. That was a bitter gift, right? You should have killed me when I was an infant. If I had died then, I'd not have been such grief to self and kin. I also would have had it, so I'd not have returned to be my father's murderer. I'd not be called by men my mother's bridegroom. Now I'm without a God, child of a polluted parent, fellow progenitor with him who gave me birth in misery. If there's an evil that surpasses evil, that has fallen to the lot of Oedipus. How can I say that you have counseled well? Better not to be than live a blind man. I really like that line. Better not to be than live a blind man. It gives me chills because aren't we all blind? None of us can know our fate. It's better not to be. Ooh. But this was not the best thing I could do. Don't tell me that or advise me anymore. Should I descend to Hades and endure to see my father with these eyes? Right? I had to gouge my eyes out. It was the only answer. I'm not willing to see my father when I do die and end up in Hades. At least with my eyes gouged out, I won't have to see him. Or see my poor unhappy mother, for I have done to both of these things too great for even hanging. Or is the sight of children to be yearned for? To see new shoots that sprouted as these did? Never, never with these eyes of mine. Nor city, nor tower, nor holy images of the divinities. For I, all wretched, most nobly raised, no one else in Thebes, deprived myself of these when I ordained that all expel the impious one, God shown to be polluted, and the dead king's son. He's referring to that curse from the beginning. I called this on myself, he said. I said whoever killed the king should be cursed. I did it myself. Once I exposed this great stain upon me, could I have looked on these with steady eyes? No. And if there were a way to block the source of hearing in my ears, I'd gladly have locked up my pitiable body, so I'd be blind and deaf, evils shut out. That way my mind could live in sweetness. Alas, Citharon, why did you receive me? Why did I not die on that mountain when I was a baby? Or when you had me, not killed me instantly? I'd not have had to show my birth to mankind. Polybus, Corinth, halls, ancestral, they told me. How beautiful was your ward, they said. A scar that held back festering disease. Evil my nature, evil my origin. You, 3 roads, and you, secret ravine. You, oak grove, narrow place of those three paths that drank my blood from these hands, from him who fathered me. I drank my own blood like the blood of my father. From him who fathered me. Do you remember still the things I did to you when I'd come here? What I then did once more? Oh, marriages, marriages. You gave us life, and when you'd planted us, you sent the same seed up, and then revealed fathers, brothers, sons, and kinsmen's blood, and brides, and wives, and mothers, all the most atrocious things that happened to mankind. One should not name what never should have been. Somewhere out there, then, quickly, by the gods, cover me up, or murder me, or throw me to the ocean where you will never see me more. Oedipus moves toward the chorus, and they back away from him. Come, don't shrink to touch this wretched man. Believe me, do not be frightened. I alone of all mankind can carry these afflictions. Is that still some hubris there? Enter Creon from the palace with attendants. Tell Creon what you wish for. Just when we need him, he's here. He can act. He can advise you. He's now the land's sole guardian in your place. He's the king now, kind of ironic. Are these words that I can speak to him? What ground for trust can I present? It's proved that I was false to him in everything. I've not come back to mock you, Oedipus, nor to reproach you for your former falseness. You men, if you had no respect for sons of mortals, let your awe for the all-feeding flames of holy Helios prevent your showing unconcealed so great a stain, abhorred by earth and sacred rain and light. Escort him quickly back into the house. If bloodkin only see and hear their own afflictions, will have no impious defilement. By the gods, you freed me from one terrible fear, so nobly meeting my unworthiness. Grant me something, not for me, for you. What do you want that you should beg me so? To drive me from the land at once, to a place where there will be no man to speak to me. I would have done just that, had I not wished to ask first of the god what I should do. Well, his answer was revealed in full already, that I, the patricide, unholy, be destroyed. He said that before, yes, but our need is so extreme, it's best to have sure knowledge what must be done. You'll ask about a wretched man like me? Is it not time you put your trust in the god? Oedipus, you do not control your fate. But I bid you as well, and shall entreat you. Give her who is within, Iocosta, what burial you will. You'll give your own her proper rights. But me, do not condemn my father's land to have me dwelling here while I'm alive, but let me live on the mountains, on Cithaeron, famed as mine, for my mother and my father, while they yet lived, made it my destined tomb, and I'll be killed by those who wished my ruin. And yet I know, no sickness will destroy me, nothing will. I'd never had been saved when left to die unless for some dread evil. Then let my fate continue where it will. As for my children, Creon, take no pains for my sons. They're men, and they will never lack the means to live, wherever they may be. But my two wretched, pitiable girls, who never ate but at my table, never were without me. Everything that I would touch, they always have had a share of it. Please care for them. Above all, let me touch them with my hands and weep aloud my woes. Please, my lord, please, noble heart, touching with my hands, I think I held them as when I could see. Enter Antigone and Ismene, Oedipus's daughters, from the palace with attendants. What's this? O gods, do I hear somewhere my two dear ones sobbing? Has Creon really pitied me and sent to me my dearest ones, my children? Is that it? Yes, I prepared this for you, for I knew you'd feel this joy as you've always done. Good fortune, then, and for your care, Creon, be guarded far better by divinity than I was. Where are you, children? Come to me. Come here to these my hands, hands of your brother, hands of him who gave you seed, hands that made these once bright eyes to see now in this gouged out fashion. Oedipus embraces his daughters. He, children, seeing nothing, knowing nothing, he fathered you where his own seed was plowed. I weep for you as well, though I can't see you, imagining your bitter life to come, the life you will be forced by men to live. What gatherings of townspeople will you join? What festivals, without returning home in tears instead of watching holy rites? And when you've reached the time for marrying, where, children, is the man who will run the risk of taking on himself the infamy that will wound you as it did my parents? What evil is not here? Your father killed his father, plowed the one who gave him birth. And from the place where he was sown, from there he got you, from the place he too was born. These are the wounds. Then who will marry you? No man, my children. No, it's clear that you must wither in dry barrenness, unmarried. Oedipus addresses Creon. Son of Minos, you are the only father left to them. We too, who gave them seed, are both destroyed. Watch that they don't become poor, wanderers, unmarried. They are your kin. Let not my ruin be their ruin too. No, pity them. You see how young they are, bereft of everyone except for you. Consent, my kind heart, and touch me with your hand. Creon grasps Oedipus's right hand. You, children, if you had reached an age of sense, I would have counseled much. Now, pray you may live always where it's allowed, finding a life better than his was, who gave you seed. Stop this now. Quiet your weeping. Move away into the house. Bitter words, but I obey them. There's an end to all things. I have first this request. Tell me, I shall judge when I will hear it. Banish me from my homeland. You must ask that of the god. But I am the god's most hated man. Then you will soon get what you want. Do you consent? I never promise when, as now, I'm ignorant. I just can't know. Nobody knows. Then lead me in. Come, but let your hold fall from your children. Don't take them from me ever. Do not wish to keep all of the power. You had power, but that power did not follow you through life. You're not in control. Oedipus's daughters are taken from him and led into the palace by attendants. Oedipus is led into the palace by a servant. Creon and the other attendants follow. Only the chorus remains. People of Thebes, my country, see. Here is that Oedipus, he who knew the famous riddle, the Sphinx, and attained the highest power, became the king, whom all citizens admired, even envying his luck. See the billows of wild troubles which he has entered now. Here is the truth of each man's life. We must wait and see his end, scrutinize his dying day, and refuse to call him happy till he has crossed the border of his life without pain. Exit the chorus.